Hey guys, welcome back to the Statuesque Events YouTube channel. I am so excited, as always, to have you back here with us to discuss another really important topic. And for today, we're going to be talking about what you should be doing first if you're planning a wedding during the COVID-19 pandemic. But first, let's introduce me, all right? My name is Feyisola. I'm the owner of Status Quo, and we are a luxury wedding planning and design company based in the DC metro area, but we service weddings all along the country and the East Coast, right? Like we've done weddings in Florida, we've done weddings in New England, New Jersey, New York, Maryland, DC, Philadelphia. We've got Las Vegas coming up soon. We've got North Carolina. So we're always available to travel just in case you need a planner. And we specialize in modern, multicultural weddings, all right? That's our sweet sauce, and that's what we love to do. For today, I want to talk about what you should be doing if you are planning a wedding during the COVID-19 pandemic. There's a lot to consider there, like maybe you're planning on having a really big guest count, or maybe you have people in your family who are high risk. There's so much to consider. And the truth is that a lot of times when people hear about COVID, they panic and you start thinking about so many things at once. But we believe that it's important to get a few core things in place first before you start thinking about all the what ifs and the logistics, right? So in today's video, I just kind of want to center you a little bit and get you focused on the one thing that you need to figure out first before you do anything else. Now, even if you've already started planning, this also applies to you. This is something you want to kind of pause and figure this out before you continue planning, right? That one thing, the first thing you need to do is to decide what you're going to do in the worst case and the best case scenario. So let me explain. The worst case scenario is that in your state or whatever, there happens to be closings, right? And then let's say guest counts get limited to 50 again, right? So in some states it may already be there, in some states it's not, but let's say the worst case scenario is that your state says you can't have more than 50 people at your wedding. What are you going to do in that scenario, right? Do you know who those 50 people are that you would invite? So with that, the first thing you want to do is figure out what is your worst case scenario guest list and your best case scenario guest list, right? The second thing that's kind of like the 1B is figuring out your worst case scenario budget and your best case scenario budget, right? Let's say you can have the full wedding with all the people that you dreamed of and you can have 200 people. What are you willing to spend for that? And let's say you have to trim your guest count down to 50 or 30 or so. What are you willing to spend for that? Those two numbers, I promise you, will help you in the planning process. And they will also help you, your planner, right? Like that is something that I coach my clients through, just making those decisions and figuring out what decisions we should make within that once we figure out those numbers, right? Because that gives you a nice frame to plan with, and it also helps to reduce anxiety. A lot of people have anxiety about things with COVID, but once you know your best case and your worst case, it's easy to move forward because then you can start to plan for the worst case, right? And make plans for the worst case so that if the worst case happens, you don't really incur too many losses. And if the best case happens to happen, hopefully you have that money set aside, you have extra room in your venue to increase to that number, and then you can just kind of start to execute on that plan. So when you figure out, make that decision, what are you going to do in the worst case and the best case, that helps you to kind of have this dual plan so you're ready to move in both scenarios. And the best part is that you are not stressed, constantly thinking of every little logistics, every 5 minutes, and every single time there's a new headline on the news or you're tossed here and there. Figuring out that frame, like just kind of putting it in the box, like this is your worst case scenario, this is your best case scenario, and your wedding's gonna fall somewhere in here, trust me, it will save you a whole lot of stress. And once you have that mapped out, it's easy to make a plan that can shift between those two numbers and shift between those two pains. So I really hope that this has been helpful for you. And guys, I wanna say one thing. We have an entire playlist dedicated to wedding planning during the COVID pandemic, right? I'm gonna link it up in the cards, but we have an entire playlist with tips to help you through planning your wedding through this pandemic. So make sure you check it out, check out all the videos, share it with your friends, and of course, make sure you like this video and subscribe. Every single subscribe helps me, every single like helps us, and we really, really appreciate it, and it helps to make sure that you don't miss our next set of videos, all right? So till next time, please be safe, please enjoy the process of wedding planning, and we can't wait to see you guys again here in the next video.